Hey, what's up guys, Aaron over here, and welcome back to a brand new video here today on F1 2020, the game. And today, as you can see in front of your eyes, we are driving a black Mercedes, the black Mercedes of this year's season, with all thanks to a PC mod for F1 2020. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out for yourself and use it if you have the PC version of the F1 game. But today, we're driving as Lewis Hamilton in his black Mercedes around the Styrian GP, which is obviously around Austria, but they're calling it the Styrian Grand Prix as a bit of a difference here because we've got this back-to-back. Last week, we did a last question mark challenge as Vettel on the F1 2019 game with a 2020 mod. This week, we can actually do the challenge on the actual 2020 game around Austria with the new 2020 cars, the AI, improved, handling, everything, ERS, different, all that good jazz, all the new game stuff, basically. So we can actually do this challenge properly, and the added bonus is today we've got a awesome black Mercedes mod, so we can drive Hamilton's car just as it is in real life. We've got a 25% race as per usual with this challenge, so it's short and sweet. We have to make the overtakes when they count. The added caveat for this one, just like we're going to maybe see this weekend, there's maybe a chance of a lot of rain. Potentially qualifying might be washed out. We might do qualifying either on Sunday morning or take FP2's timings to form the grid, and then maybe more rain to come for Sunday's race. So we've adjusted the weather, and so there's going to be some rain halfway through this Grand Prix, so that'll be an added challenge of where on earth I'm going to be on the grid order by the time we make that pit stop and change over to the wet tyres. And how I'm going to go on that, I don't know, because I've not really done too much wet running on this game so far. So it's going to be a real fun challenge here today. So let's just get into this then as we go to 5 red lights to the Styrian Grand Prix, driving as Hamilton in his brand new black Mercedes car. Fire lights are out and we're underway. Initially a good getaway for Latifi there, then bogs down. We tried to go round the outside of Magnussen on the inside there, but he kind of nearly squeezed us into the wall. So instead, going the long way around, having to take to the escape road a little bit, just like Hamilton did in real life last weekend in real life, to try and avoid major contact there with the AlphaTauri of Gasly behind us. We're going to try a major dive on Latifi and Lance Stroll. Kvyat being caught up a little bit by Giovinazzi, so we might just be able to get down the inside there. First gear to get the nose turned in on that very tight corner. All very close stuff. So down to P15, having to recompose ourselves and try and overtake Kvyat if we can round the outside using ERS a little bit. Now just trying to use the difference of the Mercedes car versus the AlphaTauri on the exit. He's actually got the advantage there, but then a little bit of wobble. I think he hit the grass there on the right-hand side. So then down the inside, supreme downforce. I must say, this is the real first time I've driven the Mercedes car with a lot of anger on this game in terms of trying to get overtakes done quick and fast. And I must say, just like it looked like in real life last weekend, this Mercedes car is so planted. Like, every time you turn in, just instant response, mid-corner, you get the power down, instant delivery, no real, issue of wobbling or whatever. Maybe with some tyre wear that might be a case, but at the moment the car absolutely on rails as we go around the outside of Giovinazzi. Bit of a tangle there, tap on the front right tyres, got very fine, and Gio kind of, didn't really want to give up the corner, but we're around the outside anyway, and so eventually had to get that sorted, and he had to go kind of back out of that eventually through the exit of the corner. We now move on to the end of lap number 3, and we're behind Alexander Albon now, which is always a little bit tetchy now these days with Hamilton versus Albon. Down the inside, a bit of contact made on the left, but we get it done, scrub him off, and we're up into P11, and we can push away Albon, qualifying quite poorly in this randomised grid. He was for some reason kind of halfway down the order in the grid running, so fortunately he's kind of making up positions if he can as well, but being stuck behind Carlos Sainz in the first of the two McLarens. Norris up ahead of Raikkonen, doing a fantastic job in the Alpha compared to in real life, but we know it's a lot slower. But we get the DRS open, it's Sainz as well, but we're going to have it under braking. You can see the supreme confidence I've got in this car. The Mercedes, like I said, just in the world of its own in terms of downforce, even compared to the Ferrari especially, and the Red Bull maybe so at some circuits, I guess. But the engine now overheating, so at this stage monitoring that, going to lean mixture, because you don't want to overheat the engine too much. So when you're behind cars, definitely try and cool the engine down with lean mixture. But then going back to Rich right now, just going to risk it because I need to get past Raikkonen here as we now go down the outside. What's nearly a flat out nearly corner in qualifying there. Had to lift off, got it done though mid-apex, but now the engine again screaming out a little bit there. Yellow now getting a little bit cooler as we go down to lean mixture. Ahead of us we see Norris and Sergio Perez fighting just like they did at Austria last weekend. Will we see that again at the Styrian version of this Grand Prix? We'll have to see. Norris with a grid penalty, of course, because he actually overtook some cars under yellow flags, I think it was, in practice, so he's going to get a little bit nerfed in the real real-life Styrian Grand Prix, but down the inside for us, and a nice little switch that was. We made the overtake on the right-hand side of the circuit on Perez, and then we nicely just found that space to cut in and go left on Norris there, and very easy stuff then under braking to get up into P7, and now we chase after the first of the two Renaults. The Renaults massively overrated in this race so far, P5 and 6. I'm sure they'll be ecstatic with that, and they're actually here for the real-life Grand Prix. But dive down the inside, very simple stuff on Esteban Ocon there. Purple first sector, we're flying now in terms of with the clean air, finally using the engine power without overheating the engine too much. You can see it's still overheated a little, bit, after we were behind Ocon, but in clean air, you know, just pushing on. You can see on the top left now, we've set the fast lap of this Grand Prix on lap number 8, and we've still got the rain to come, remember, as well. So that'll be quite interesting to see, like I said, if we can hopefully try and catch up. We've got the two Ferraris, Vettel, Leclerc, in tandem there, and they're chasing after Verstappen. So if we can maybe try and get all these guys before the rain comes, and then just focus on Bottas in the wet conditions, that could be quite nice. But right now, having to try and overtake Ricciardo, he's a little bit more harder to pass than Ocon. That's the word I was trying to find. As we try and go around the outside, Ricciardo just parks it really well. I just didn't get the drive I was expecting off that corner on the outside. So instead, having to just kind of sit back a little bit in lean mix, trying to protect the engine temps as well. But then here, I sense this is the time to maybe try and make the move, overtake mode. The Renault not too quick off that corner, the Mercedes quite supreme into this next right-hander, and we go sailing through quite smoothly up into P5 now, and we can now breathe a little bit with some clean air, use the rich mix, open DRS. Not going to use overtake mode though, save that till we close right up. But ahead of us, a fight might be brewing between Leclerc and Verstappen, because Leclerc gets a great launch off that first corner on lap number 9. Verstappen a little bit slow. Leclerc with DRS. He's going to go to the inside. Even though Verstappen squeezed him to the inside, Leclerc gets it down the inside. Fantastic overtake. And he's squeezing Verstappen off. And Verstappen makes a mistake, I think that was, with a lock-up there. And so Vettel now is on the back of him there. So the Dutchman and his team's home Grand Prix feeling the pressure. Vettel dives down the inside. So the two Ferraris have gone through to 2 and 3. Very unorthodox and unexpected there. I thought Verstappen would have kept that, but he just made mistake after a mistake there and just lacking some pace, and so maybe he's now susceptible to us, as now in an instant, you know, pretty much at the start of this lap it was all sunny, and now it is so overcast and dark here as Verstappen is going to come in for a pit stop, as well as Leclerc and also Valtteri Bottas. As the clouds fall over, you know, this is not the time to come in. They're going to come in for their first dry pit stop. So are they pretty much handing maybe the race victory to us? We could do some clever work here. It's a long way to go, but if we just try and stretch the tyres as much as we can, we could pit straight onto intermediates and just try and go for the win that way. So that could be a very successful and literally doing the last to first challenge here today, if we can manage that. Well, right up behind Vettel, but he actually has enough straight line speed in the game right now to keep ahead of us there. So eventually at the end of that lap, he's going to come in, and we're just going to continue on, because it's lap 10. It's definitely time to come in if it was going to be all dry. But the fact that we know the rain's coming, if we just keep on going on, the tyre wear will kick in. We will be a lot slower going around the lap with the tyre wear kicking in. But if we could just trundle around and keep that gap to the point where even if we pit and we're slow on our in lap, we can still make that. And so in lap 14, the rain is fully coming down. Now, unfortunately, the DRS got disabled. When that happens, that's pretty much an indication that you should come in for the intermediate tyres. Now, unfortunately, I already crossed the pit lane entry when that happened, so I've got to go for a whole nother lap here, but I'm already saying box in this lap. In hindsight, probably should have come in lap 14, but I thought we'll just continue on, try and stretch the tyres as much as I can to give myself the best bets on intermediates. And also, to be fair, the pace wasn't that bad on the slicks. Just a case of now, this very lap, it's kind of a stark difference from lap 14 to 15. That now is just way too wet. You can see the rear end stepping out. The front end is just not on a bite in. And on the braking, having to go very, very tentative. And into this next right-hander, so much understeer there to the point where the Williams will unlap itself. Latifi there, streaking away on intermediates now. So it's now a case of, we've seen this a few times at Hamilton, just remain calm. Just try and drive as best we can to the max of these conditions. but just, you know, have that wild fox strategy that Hamilton sometimes is known for, you know, doing the very clever thing of staying out that one lap longer, then coming onto the wets at the right time. You know, he's done that in the past, so that's exactly what we're trying to do here. Just play the clever game, nice and calm, just keep on the black stuff. It looks very, very pedestrian right now. We're losing a lot of time, but crucially on the top left there, 27 seconds, we've still got that gap. That's enough for a pit stop, so we should pit right now and come out in first place on intermediate. So let's see, coming in for the pit box then, that Mercedes looking very dark indeed with the shadows and a lack of really light sourcing here now as the rain comes down. So the black Mercedes looking even darker now in these conditions. But as we come down the pit lane, where is Bottas going to be as we tentatively come off the pit limiter and come through the right hand? A lot of on this area. She comes in here. I almost hit the wall on the left hand side, very close there. But we come through and Bottas nowhere to be seen as we pan to this shot. There he is. It is a 1-2 for Mercedes, but we are in first place now, driving as Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas in second place. So we have done, I feel like, a very Hamilton sort of race and strategy, coming out with a blinder of staying out, going on to intermediate straight away off some very worn soft tyres, and we'll come through to the end of the lap on inters. It's been tricky, and Bottas has been catching me, to be fair, so give it a few more laps, and he may have been tackling me for maybe first place, but we're going to sail through fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well whilst we did it for the win at the Styrian Grand Prix. The last to first challenge is completed there in the lovely looking new black Mercedes, thanks to that PC mod. Again, link in the description. But guys, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula content. That's been the last to question mark challenge, or last to first, for the Styrian Grand Prix with Hamilton. Very successful one indeed. But till next time, guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.